All right, today we are diving into one of the most exciting shifts happening in tech right now, the rise of AI agents. And look, this is way more than just another buzzword. This is a fundamental change in how we're going to interact with technology, moving from tools that we command to partners that actually help us.
You know that feeling, right? You click a button, you type a command, and your software does that one specific thing. It's useful for sure, but it's also completely passive. It just sits there waiting for you to tell it what to do next. But what if it didn't have to wait?
And that right there, that is the core idea. Traditional software is all about following commands one by one, but AI agents, they're designed to understand and work towards your goals. It's the difference between being handed a hammer and hiring a carpenter who knows how to build the whole house.
So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll talk about what really separates these agents from the programs we're used to. Then, we'll get into the anatomy of an agent, what makes them tick. We'll look at how they think and explore the different levels of smarts they can have. And finally, we'll wrap up by looking at what this all means for the future.
Okay, let's jump right in. Section 1, Beyond Passive Programs. This is all about that huge leap from just following instructions to actually achieving goals.
Let's make this super clear with an example. Think about planning a trip. Right now, you're the project manager. You've got one tab open for flights, another for hotels, another for weather, a few more for restaurants. You're the one connecting all those dots. An AI agent, on the other hand, understands the goal. You just say, plan me an awesome weekend trip, and it handles the whole shebang, cross-referencing everything with your budget. It's a massive difference.
That sounds pretty amazing, right? So how does it actually work? Well, that brings us to Section 2, the anatomy of an agent. What is it exactly that makes a program an agent? Well, an agent isn't just a chunk of code. It can perceive its environment, it has a memory, and, this is crucial, it has access to tools, like a web browser or different APIs, that let it take real actions on its own. The name agent is perfect, really. Just like a human travel agent, it's designed to act on your behalf. And there are 4 traits that really define an agent. First up, autonomy. It can work by itself without you micromanaging it. Second, reactivity. If something unexpected happens, like a flight gets canceled, it can react to that change. Third, proactivity. It takes the initiative. It doesn't just wait around. And fourth, social ability. It can communicate with you, give you updates, or maybe even ask for help if it gets stuck.
Okay, so we know what they are. Now for Section 3, how agents think and act. Let's pop the hood and see what's going on inside the agent's mind.
It all really boils down to this constant cycle called the agent loop. First, it perceives the situation. It gets your request to plan my trip. Then it thinks. Okay, step 1 is probably to search for some flights. Then it acts on that thought by using its flight search tool. And finally, it observes the result. Maybe it sees all the direct flights are way too expensive. So it observes that, adapts, and the loop starts right over again. Maybe this time looking for connecting flights.
And this really gets to the magic of it. An agent isn't just following a pre-written script, it has a brain, which is usually a powerful, large language model that lets it reason through problems. It can actually figure out what needs to be done and how to do it to reach that goal.
This brings us to the real heart of our explainer, Section 4, the spectrum of intelligence. Because you see, not all agents are created equal. They exist on this scale, from really simple to unbelievably sophisticated.
At the very bottom of the ladder, you've got your simple reflex agents. These guys are basic. They just perceive something and act based on a simple if this, then that rule. A thermostat is a perfect example. If the room is cold, turn on the heat. Super fast, but they have zero memory. They can't learn or handle anything new.
Now, taking one step up, we get model-based agents. These are way smarter because they keep an internal model or sort of a map of the world in their memory. Think about a robot vacuum cleaner. It can't see your whole house at once, but it builds a map as it goes, so it knows where it's already been and where it still needs to clean. That memory is a total game changer.
Next up are goal-based agents. Now we're talking. These don't just react or remember, they actually plan ahead. They consider different actions and choose the ones that will get them closer to their goal. An AI interview coach is a great example here. Its goal is to get you ready for that big interview, so it'll plan out a series of steps to get you there. Okay, now things get even more nuanced with utility-based agents. See, a goal-based agent might find you a trip that works, but a utility-based agent tries to find you the best trip. It weighs all these different factors, like cost versus convenience or hotel quality versus location, to maximize your overall happiness, or what we call utility. It's about finding the optimal choice, not just an acceptable one.
And finally, at the very top, we have learning agents. These are the most advanced because they actually get smarter over time. They have this cool feedback loop where they try something, see how it went, get some feedback, and then update their own strategy for next time. The more they work, the better they get at their job.
So, let's bring this all home in our final section. The future is autonomous. When you put all this together, you realize this isn't just a small step forward. It's a whole new way of thinking about how we use computers.
Here it is, the key takeaway from all of this. For decades, programming and using computers has been about giving them a super precise step-by-step list of instructions. We've been telling them how to do everything. The future with AI agents is about simply telling them what we want to achieve and letting them figure out the how.
And that leaves us with a really fun question to ponder. If you had your own personal, super capable AI agent, what kind of big, complex goals would you hand over to it? To build a business? To manage your investments? To plan out your entire life? The possibilities are just starting to open up, and it's going to be fascinating to watch.